There's something that is kind of prevalent in the modern world and the modern kind of ideology of people, and that's hustle culture. And to be honest, I've kind of got a bit of a bone to pick with hustle culture because I think it's inherently flawed. Now, when you look online nowadays, all people seem to be doing is being 20 years old and being a millionaire and flashing this big flashy life and how much they've achieved, and they're living in Miami and that they've got everything figured out and all that. And if you're not working 24/7, then this life isn't attainable, and even this life is something that you want to, I guess, pursue in the first place. Now, my problem with the whole hustle culture thing is it makes you feel guilty for doing anything other than working or trying to be productive on a side hustle or doing whatever. Now, personally, I kind of like my free time. I like trying to do side projects and working on things, but it's not something I do 24/7, it's a thing that I do when I feel kind of a push to do something. Like, I understand the whole CEOs or whatever it may be, they might have to, I guess, work more than others or put in more hours, but again, you don't have to neglect all other elements of your life just for work. The whole problem with hustle culture, it really just delves into the idea that your only life purpose can come from your work. None of it can come from having a family or making friends or, creating art or whatever it may be, or going travelling or whatever your thing may be. You can have more than just one purpose. Like, obviously, everyone might have a life mission, but you can get fulfillment from stuff outside of your work. And that's like one of my main problems with it, is the fact that it makes you feel like you have to be doing something all the time. Like, personally, when I kind of bought into this idea of hustle culture, I was like, I wasn't doing anything that was, I guess, considered to be improving myself or trying to create some kind of online project or do whatever it may be that I was trying to do. I felt like kind of bad about myself. Like, if I was watching a film, I felt like, I should be doing this, I should be learning, I should be reading more about this. But there is a thing where it's like, there is a point where it can be too much. And the fact is, like, I don't want to have to, like, spend 16 hours a day, working all the time. Like, I guess if I ever went down the route of entrepreneurship, maybe that could happen. But, like, doing your day job and then doing whatever, like, for me, this YouTube channel or whatever time it may take to do some other project, I personally feel like the work that's enough, because, like, you need time to, I guess, take off, because there's only so many productive hours you can have in a day. Like, it feels like this whole ideology comes around where it's like, if you aren't working every single second that you're awake, you don't want it enough. So, say for example, I don't know, if I wanted to be a singer or something like that, I wouldn't want it enough, just based on the idea that I wasn't doing it all day. When, if something is creative, that would lead to burnout, and you might actually not be able to create anything for that amount of time. It's one of them things, I see as well, like, 'cause I would like to be, like, doing things and, being busy and working on something most of the time. But the thing is, like, you look around certain people, like, the world's not really a meritocracy. It just because you work all day doesn't mean you're going to be rich or that you're going to, I guess, succeed in life. And that's one of my main problems, is that hustle culture makes people think that if you work all day and don't stop and just, don't give up and keep working and working and working and neglect everything else, that one day you'll be rewarded. But, like, that's not always the case, It might be the case if you're the CEO, but if you're maybe the cleaner of a place, you working more hours isn't really going to get you paid too much more. Like, it's terrible on LinkedIn. Anytime I open that app, it is actually awful. Everyone on it is, like, glorifying constant productivity and the hustle culture, and, really embedded into them about how important it is to hustle, and your 20s are for work and not for fun, or they're not for experience and the one life you fucking have, you know what I mean? It's not for that, it's for working, and it's for, chasing promotions and doing all this. But like, is that really what you want to do? Personally, I want to chase a life of fulfillment, purpose, and happiness, because you can look at all these people and they have the bank accounts and the stocks and the equity and all the money in the world, but are they actually happy? And like, money buys financial freedom, which is something we all strive for, and we all want that. Like, I'm not gonna kid myself and say I don't want financial freedom. Of course I do, but it's one of them things where once you get to a certain level of it, it becomes kind of less important, and it doesn't actually enhance your happiness. And that's one of the lessons I got from the Psychology of Money book anyway. Not a plug, but yeah, it was just a book that I liked and I read. But yeah, hustle culture, like, it hasn't done me any favours. Like, I felt more miserable the times where I was constantly chasing, success and chasing all that. And it's not like success is a bad thing in itself, but like, as I mentioned, it's not always a meritocracy. And if the world was a meritocracy, then fair enough. We could push hustle culture and we could push for, greatness or whatever it may be you want to say. But the fact that it's not, it kind of, sometimes you can work so much and not even be rewarded. And I like to work hard and like to, work diligently and well and all that crack. But like, at the same time, it's one of them things where you just need to, I guess, approach your work in a more smart manner. Like, that's what I've been trying to do, especially like with this channel and all. I don't intend to hustle all day on it, but I definitely intend to put in the effort to, make something out of it. Also, I feel like hustle culture has me like chasing the idea that I need to be financially set by 25 or have this all figured out at a young age, when like, most people who build actual wealth and not like scammy influencer course selling wealth or whatever happens because of decades or many years of working on something and building up something that ends up producing a right amount of value anyway. So yeah, that's really my problem with hustle culture. You can let me know your problems with it in the comments, and yeah, I'm out.